Hello, in this video I am going to be removing a radiator. I am going to start off by disconnecting the battery cables. I don't want to risk shorting anything out in the electrical system, so I am going to disconnect the cables, but the battery and battery housing will need to be removed a little bit later as well. I like to wear gloves when working on a car. Not only do the gloves keep your hand clean, but it also protects from corrosion from this battery as well. The cable for the battery requires a 10mm socket to loosen. Once the nut is loose, the cable should come right off. Next, I'm going to remove this front cover. This cover has a few fasteners located near the top of the cover and on the bottom as well. Once the fasteners have been removed, the cover comes right off. There are two fan connectors. This is the fan connector located near the top. This is the other fan connector located near the bottom or side. This might be a more tougher fan connector to disconnect because it is in a tighter space. Then I am going to remove this linkage here. Next, I am going to remove the upper radiator hose. I used a set of pliers to squeeze this hose clamp to break it loose. Once it was loose, I just moved the clamp towards the center of the hose. To include additional information, I did already drain the cooling system completely of coolant. There is no coolant in the cooling system. Then I used my hand to twist the hose clockwise and counterclockwise to make it loose. Then I continued to twist it at the same time, pulling the hose off. Next, I will remove the hose that connects from the radiator to the reservoir. I didn't use any special tools to remove this hose. I just pulled off the hose and it comes right off. After I removed the hose that leads into the reservoir, I went underneath the car and removed the lower radiator hose. The hose at the bottom is much more tougher than the hose at the top because of the tighter space that it's in. I know that it's dark and so the clamp is not really visible here, but there is a clamp holding onto the hose. I did the same thing that I did to the upper radiator hose and used a set of pliers to loosen the clamp and move it towards the center of the hose. I left the other end of the hose still attached to the engine. The next thing I removed is the brackets that hold down the radiator. There are two of these brackets located near the sides of the radiator. Now I am going to remove the battery and the holding case that houses the battery. The battery sits on top of the housing. After the battery is removed from the engine bay, the housing will be able to come off as well. When all of the components are removed, the radiator should have enough room and space to come out of the engine bay. If you were to replace the radiator, there are also rubber washers that are located at the bottom of the radiator. Just in case the rubber washer did not come out along with the radiator, take a look at the bottom where the radiator sits. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it so much. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.